In the last video, I discussed Sony's State of Play premiering the trailer for Sonic Racing CrossWorlds, and in that video I even said that I thought we were going to get more information right after that trailer with some more reveals and interviews and stuff like that, and lo and behold, only a day after, IGN released a decently sized video going over the mechanics and the feel for Sonic Racing CrossWorlds. Now, I don't know if I can show all that footage here, but I do actually encourage you to check it out. I'm not a huge fan of IGN and all their work, but they go over a pretty elaborate detail for this game. It shows off some characters: Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Shadow, Metal Sonic, Silver, Eggman, Big. They have a few in there. I'm not going over a super deep analysis of this. I'm just going to kind of regurgitate what they said in that video and kind of give my thoughts and opinions on the footage that they showed. They show them going on the course of, it looks like Metal Harbor, and they do say Metal Harbor, and it looks very interesting. There's a lot to unpack with this game that we know of so far. Hello everyone, I'm OCDsaster, and this is OCDsaster Blue, my Sonic exclusive channel, where everything we do here is about Sonic the Hedgehog. So if that sounds like something your speed, consider checking out some other videos and subscribing to the channel. It really helps me out. Let's talk about the elephant in the room for a second. Sonic and Sega All-Star Racing Transformed is definitely a foundation for Sonic CrossWorlds. They're taking a lot of elements from that game and putting it into this new racing title, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Transformed was a pretty good kart racer, and it was received pretty well from audiences, so it makes sense that they would try this formula out again, considering Sonic Team Racing did not do nearly as well as they hoped. They tried for something new, and it just didn't quite work, so now they're going back to some older ideas and kind of reimagining and repurposing that, which I don't think is a big deal. Being able to go from a car to a plane to a boat, back to a plane to a car, back to a boat, provides a lot of interesting things to happen. You have different track variations, you have different ways of movement. They said for certain vehicles in the IGN review that they did, not really a review, they really just got like a first play. They got to like get their hands on it and play for a little bit, like a demo sort of thing, that when you're in a boat, you're able to like power jump and be able to do a few different things here and there. So these are some things to consider when you have this mechanic. So yeah, they're recycling it from a previous game, but it is really fun and provides a lot of diversity for the game style that you're playing with. It also seems like you can almost choose what type of vehicle transformation you want to do. It looks like there's going to be multiple routes per track that will allow you to take to the sky or to the water. So I think that could add a lot of diversity and not make the laps seem repetitive in that nature, which would really help with, you know, the replayability of this game. Speaking of switching things up, as you're transforming your vehicles on tracks, the person in first can sometimes get portals that will take you to a completely different dimension for a portion of the track, which I think is really, really cool. It seems like you can choose between like two options, and one of them is usually like a random option, and I like this. I think this is a very creative and unique way to spice the game up. And I believe they said in the IGN video that when you go back to the regular track, there'll still be remnants and pieces of that dimension that you went to on the track, some leftover spillage, if you will. That's a very inventive concept, and I am all for it if it's done well and implemented correctly. In typical mascot kart racing fashion, you will also get power-ups to take out your opponents, which is always just so fun to do, and it ruins friendships. And that isn't really something too interesting to talk about. It looks like you can send like boxing gloves at somebody, and it looks like they pretty much copied the Boo Ghosts from Mario Kart, except this time it's the ghosts from the Sonic games, which is just adorable and great, and I love it portals will open up for shortcuts that people can take to get an edge on other people. There are also different classes of carts and kart racers: speed, acceleration, turning, power, your typical shtick, and each character has different stats and different strengths for, flying or being on the water, driving, handling, all that fun stuff. And it looks like you'll be able to customize these carts and builds. They didn't show any of that off in the IGN presentation, but they did talk about it. So that will be interesting. You'll be able to change wheels, change different types of carts, and kind of experiment, play around. It seems like you can even unlock different levels to get different upgrades for your cart. I think they said there was 6 rows, maybe 9 rows of upgrades, and you make these builds for your car, but everyone else can see it while you're loading into the racetrack, and people can copy it or rock, paper, scissors your kind of build. So if you do this build and someone can do a different build to counter that build, but then someone else can see that and switch it. So I really want to see more of this. This seems very fun, but it could also be very broken if they don't balance things correctly. Apparently if you make a monstrous car, you can just run people off the road and stuff like that. So we'll just have to see. They didn't mention it, but it looks like you can collect red rings as you're driving through the courses, and I don't know what that does, but I think it's very interesting. I love the idea of the shortcuts and the different kart and class types and the customization and all the heroes you can play as, and the courses seem like they're going to be all very familiar and popular with the Sonic IP. Hopefully there's a lot of them and a lot of customization with the different dimensions you can go to. It's not just a set 4 or 5 of them. Hopefully there's a lot of variety to it. The IGN video failed to mention the extreme gear. It shows it off a little bit, just like it does in the trailer, but we don't get any more information about it. And I would really like to know, because I'm a huge Sonic Riders fan, especially the first Sonic Riders game. Is this a transformation power-up? Can you use it on water and in the sky? Or is it just a limited thing when you're racing through the course? I would really like to know, because I would personally like to use extreme gear all the way through when playing this game. Now it's time to talk about my biggest concern for this game. The game is not out yet. I have not played it, so I can't fully say whether or not this is going to be an issue. But based off of what I've seen already, it just looks very busy. It seems like there's a lot of cool things going on the screen. The courses look beautiful. The carts look amazing. The characters look great. But then you have a lot of other stuff going on. You have the stage transforming because of the portals. You have power-ups. You have different things popping up on screen. And it just looks very, very stimulant-inducing. A lot of stimuli going on. And I just don't know if my ADHD brain can take in all of that and all of those colors and contrasts and stuff like that. That's just a personal thing. I could have a completely different opinion once I get my hands on the game and maybe even play a demo or something like that, but we'll have to wait and see until then. It just seems a little bit too busy, because it seems like there's a lot you can do, and we haven't even seen the menus, we haven't seen the UI system, we haven't seen the cart customization actually to its fullest. We've only heard about it, so I am very intrigued to see more about this game. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments below. Are you excited for this new Sonic Racing game? Do you think you're going to play it? Do you have any concerns? I'm OCDsaster, and I hope you have a super Sonic rest of your day. See ya.